Pongo. Huh? Hey, Brownstone sent me? Oh, great. Am I getting fired again? No, you actually gotta do the review. Oh, that. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pongo's Recap, the 4th episode. I'm your host, as always, Pongo the Dalmatian, director of 2 successful movies on this channel, and, it's time to get into Raya and the Last Dragon. So, to those of you who haven't seen my previous Pongo's Recap videos, the reviews, they're positive, all positive, unless stated otherwise beforehand. And to that extent, and this review show has kind of become sort of like an outsider thing. Like, it doesn't always agree with the status quo. Like, we've reviewed movies like The Rise of Skywalker, which we rated positive. Wonder Park, made by Paramount Studios, we rated positive. And the most recent one, or relatively recent, I gotta say, was the Mulan remake, which reached a high amount of controversy, which I am not gonna touch on because the Support Mulan campaign is over. Yeah, that was a thing. Go check out the Support Mulan playlist, you'll get it. But anyway, is it no surprise that I had a blast with this movie? I mean, it's refreshing, to say the least. To see Disney returning to their roots. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I love the live action remakes. The live action remakes, they weren't needed, but loved all of them. But it's so refreshing to see Disney returning to their roots, and the animation style. Oh boy, oh boy, it's so fluid and really captures the essence of the film and helps to add to the overall story. What's it about, you may ask? Well, I guess it's time to get into the story, and as always, I am separating it into the categories, like Animat does. Story, animation, and characters overall. So, let's get into the story. Alright, the story. So, this is probably the part where I spoil the entire movie. For those of you who've seen my previous Pongo's Recap episodes. Yeah, I'm gonna try something different this time around and try not to tell you the whole plot of the movie. Because I get that's like a troubling trope that I've been doing. Like, no one has commented on it, but I have a feeling that it kind of ruins the experience. And I even put that in the playlist description for those reviews, by all means. So I'm gonna give you the general overview, maybe some minor or major spoilers every now and then, but I'm not gonna spoil the whole movie this time. Hopefully these episodes can get better that way. So, the story. So, how do we begin? 500 years ago, there was this fantasy world called Kumandra. Several nations, the nations of Fang, Heart, Talon, Spine, and Tail, I believe. They live together in harmony, and the people were united, and they were watched over by the benevolent dragons, who brought them rain and life and all that. But everything changed when the Drun nation attacked. See what I did there? No, really. The Drun. Okay, I'm not gonna... Is it Drun? Drun. Sorry. These guys... Yeah, these guys, like, in Sisu's own words, they're a relentless plague born from human discord. Basically, they were created created, like, one day, these, like, purple smoke things they attacked, and the dragons, they fought valiantly to save humanity. And, well, it didn't work initially. All the dragons were turned to stone. Basically the power the druid have, they can turn anyone to stone. Basically sucking all the life force out of them. That is until, the last dragon. And the mighty Sisu Datu. That's the full name of Sisu. Sisu, according to Kamandra legend, created this magical gem and blasted the drone away. Only later do we learn, spoiler, that she wasn't the one who created the gem, and it was actually her sisters. Her siblings. Amba, Jagan, Pangu. Yeah. Very interesting names. If you could, like, name a dragon, name a dragon Sisu, which I think is a pretty good name, by the way. Okay? You can name the other dragons that. I think that's inspired by Southeast Asian names. I don't know. But basically, that's not really how the world broke, according to Raya. And it actually comes later, 500 years later. Okay, how do I do this without spoiling the whole thing? Okay, I got it. So, these guys, the Nation of Heart. Basically, something happens when the entire other nations come for a visit, and they fight over the gem which Heart protects, and it breaks, unleashing the Droon, and the Droon come back, and 6 years later, Raya is searching for the last dragon. Yeah. So yeah, a lot of things happen, which involve a MacGuffin sort of story, in which, like, you go collect all these all the gem pieces in order to put the gem back together, and blast the drone away again. And the theme of trust really is shown prominently throughout. Like, the nations are divided, and they need to trust each other again if they have any hope to defeat the drone. And it's a really great story, and obviously a refreshing take from what we've previously seen. Like, you don't really get that much unique stories like this. There isn't a prince coming to save the day. Hey, thank goodness, because that trope is way overused. I'm sorry, but seeing all those classic Disney movies, they're great, but a lot of them have, like, the sort of prince come in, like, save the princess, or like princess romance. It's a tiresome trope, and this is exactly why I did not incorporate one of the Young Six, Gallus, into much of the Question Civil War series. I know, let's go on a tangent here. I know that Brony fandom ships Silverstream with Gallus, but I didn't go for that. Simply because, like, the Prince and Princess thing is a tiresome trope, and I was not going to fall into that trap. So, it's great seeing them do something different. And, I must say, the story complimented the movie a whole lot. Obviously, it's derivative of Avengers Endgame, because hey, go to these different places, collect different pieces, in order to do this epic showdown, save the day. So obviously, things work out in the end. Kumandra is united again. The dragons come back. Dragons come back. That's all I'm gonna spoil. People are united again. Dragons come back. Good. I didn't spoil the whole movie. Hey, there's still plenty left. So let's get into the characters now. Okay, so the characters. Okay, so obviously we have a long lineup here, so bear with me here. First, we have Raya herself. Obviously, since the movie's about her. And her journey throughout the film, from not trusting people to learning to trust others again. And then we have Namari, who is Raya's nemesis. And if any of you have seen the film before, well, you know the role she plays in the story. I think of her less as a villain and more of an anti-hero. The real one-dimensional villains are the Droon. Namari actually has some depth to her. And we have Sisu, the mighty dragon, who is also the comedy and the comic relief of this movie. Voiced by celebrity Aquafina, as I mentioned earlier, I think. I don't know. I edited the part. Did I mention this is voiced by Aquafina? Anyway. Hey, well. After that, we have Tung, the chief of the village of Spine, who is the only person left in this village after all of the villagers have been turned to stone by the Droon. And we have Captain Boone, the captain / owner of the Shrimporium, this boat where he doesn't leave because he's scared of the Droon. He's a 10-year-old entrepreneur who also serves to provide kind of some comic relief, but the main comic relief comes from Sisu. We have Chief Benja, Raya's visionary father, who has visions for a better world, a better society, united again in trust. Chief Benja is kind, and he's a step away from the trope where fathers usually or mothers play the main conflict in a story. Like with other classic Disney movies like Moana, for instance. We see that the father character is usually the stubborn type, that he isn't very opening to his daughter's wishes and stuff. But here the roles are reversed. When we see a young Raya at the beginning of the film, she's all like, "I know exactly how we'll stop them." She's more like the closed-minded one, and the father's like the open-minded one. I like how the roles were reversed here, where the father serves to play the life lesson, and how he instills in Raya the message of trust. And obviously Raya goes with that until Namari betrays her. Yeah. And I couldn't think of a better time for this movie to come out than now. I mean, let's go off on another tangent here and look at the world, specifically this country, as it is. People are so divided, politically, economically, socioeconomically, everything, in every aspect. People are like divided over everything, even on the internet. Yeah, trusting people? Out the window. Now it's flame wars. And people getting offended over everything. And the slightest thing can make someone mad. Yeah. This movie couldn't have come at a more appropriate time. Honestly. And that really ties into here, and I guess that's why it's able to resonate with a lot of people, specifically me. Like being on this channel that deviates from the status quo. Obviously, people are not gonna trust a Disney supporter, but we have to work hard for that trust, and prove we're not the stereotypical SJWs that geeks and gamers and the fandom menace like to paint us as, you know? It's a very difficult task, and oftentimes it can have disastrous consequences. But that's really not the point. I feel that the characters were excellent. The voice actors and actresses lended their voices very well. and the facial expressions and are perfect. Now, even though I really like the live action remakes, looking back on the Lion King remake, the lack of facial expressions was a huge thing. I guess I gotta give the haters that. I mean, they're right in one aspect. The Lion King remake suffered from a huge lack of facial expressions, but that's to be expected. I mean, I don't think that's really huge. A really huge problem when it comes to animating live action characters. But for movie and story wise, then that's the problem. Like, you check out real lions, they don't really have that much facial expression, but when you want to do it in a movie, you gotta exaggerate every now and then, even with live action. So now that we're on the topic of animating this and animating that, let's move on to the animation. Would it really be a stretch to say that Disney got their A-list animators on this? I mean, I've watched quite a couple reviews in my doing research while doing this, and honestly, I think many people, many YouTubers are all in agreement that the animation was absolutely flawless, except for that one part someone pointed out. I don't know. I forgot who it was, but someone pointed out that there was an animation error with a tree and the water rising and stuff. But that's not really a huge problem, honestly. So yeah, the animation was flawless and excellent, and that served for great visual effects. In this movie, there's a lot of visual effects. We got the gem, the drone, the purple smoky things, and the atmosphere, the areas, all around, all of it is beautifully animated. And did I mention that this was done all from home? That's right. The COVID-19 pandemic made things extremely complicated, but the animators, 400 people, did this all from home. Now if you people are still thinking, oh, Disney doesn't care about the fans, well, think again. If I take this as proof that they do. Maybe they handle situations poorly, in the Lucasfilm, Marvel, or main Disney department. Sometimes, maybe they handle criticism poorly, but that doesn't mean they don't listen to their fans. They know that people are expecting something great, and so they made use of a bad situation. Obviously, the stay-at-home order and stuff placed a lot of restrictions on this sort of thing. But the Disney animators, they managed big time. From what I gathered in my research, the animators were on Zoom calls all the time, passing down ideas what should we do here? What should we do here? It's just like at work, only not at work, you know? These people work from home to give us this beautiful masterpiece of animation. Just the way everything is drawn and animated. Some scenes, they make you feel like you're actually there with the aesthetic and all that running animation and the water, fire, or this breaking or this happening and stuff. Character movements, it's all flawlessly done, and I have to give these people props. COVID, it gave you a bad situation, but you made the best out of it. What Disney did in response to the pandemic is the embodiment of the phrase, "When life gives you lemons, you can make lemonade." Because the pandemic and stay-at-home order gave them gave them serious setbacks. But did they give up? Nope. So Phantom Menace, if you're listening to this, I think twice before saying that Disney doesn't care, doesn't care completely, and stuff. Sure, they can't really handle criticism well, but hey, they do care about their fans, and it's shown in their movies, the animated ones at least in the live action remakes. In the live action remakes, I think they still care, but live action, it's sort of kinda easier than animation in my own opinion. I mean, obviously, The Lion King is an exception because this wasn't filmed and stuff. This was like all animated to look realistically, and gotta give them props for that. But all in all, live action is kinda easier here, and animation it's much harder. So, props to them for all this. Okay, what do we got? Story, character, animation. I think it's time we go to the overall, and this is where the majority of the review is going to take place. Let's get to it. Now that we're on to the overall, I think it's time to give some more specific thoughts. So, obviously, this movie is not for free. Not right now, at least. It's for $30 on Disney+. Thank you, Disney. You're so nice. So, obviously, we paid the $30 for it. I paid the $30. Because, like, Disney has this thing. Like, if they can't release big blockbusters in theaters, they're still gonna charge you. And obviously this is problematic, but there's nothing we can do about it. So, yeah. I think that the premiere access with $30 is depriving a lot of people from seeing the movie for themselves. It's because they don't want to pay the $30, and that's understandable. Like, if you don't think it's if you don't think it's worth it after all the reviews you've seen, then that's up to you. But the reviews have been pretty positive. A stark contrast to the last premiere access movie, Mulan 2020, where there was a lot of controversy, which inhibited a lot of people from seeing the movie for the brilliant masterpiece it was. I still maintain that Mulan 2020 was a cinematic masterpiece, and honestly, so is this movie. Now, you can have two cinematic masterpieces, and the emotional moments in film make it seem like it's made by Pixar, but it isn't. Disney is really stepping up their game for this movie, and it's a definite recommend. If I was to recommend one thing that they could improve on, well, maybe make some things make a little more sense. Like, I watched a video this morning from I think Looper YouTube channel, which asked the question, like, why didn't other people go like searching for Sisu and like the gem pieces and stuff all this time? And those are very valid questions. The film doesn't really answer those questions, and it's not a very brisk pace. Like, you're here, you're there, you're here, you're there, you're here, you're there, you're here, you're there. There's enough time to be in the places long enough, but from the response I've seen, it left people wanting more. And that's understandable. This film is very fast paced, and people are even comparing that to Rogue One. So, yeah, that's an understandable comparison. I can totally understand why you would compare it to Rogue One, because that was similar, going to a lot of places. Only this time it wasn't to steal plans for a Death Star. Can you imagine if Raya and the Last Dragon followed a similar plot to Rogue One? Yeah. Okay. So here's how I think a Rogue One type Raya and the Last Dragon would turn out. I'm the director here, so I have the right to come up with stories. So, okay. So Fang is building a massive super weapon that will wipe out the other kingdom. The June are basically non-existent, and Fang's just evil. So, yeah. So yeah, Raya has to go searching for the last dragon, because the last dragon have the power to have the power to like overpower Fang and stuff. And along the way, instead of the dragon gem pieces, they go steal the plans for Fang's Death Star. You see what I'm getting at here? I think it would work well as a Rogue One plot, but no, it wasn't. Okay, yeah. Just let that alternate take sink in here. It'd be more like a heist movie than it already was. Okay. So yeah, this movie was a nice return to Disney's roots in animation. And honestly, I'd like to see them make more animated films like this. Not to say that I'm not excited for future live-action remakes. Honestly, I am excited. And I want to see what they have in store for Hercules, because Hercules live-action remake seems to be next on the list. And oh my, if they could do new versions of those songs, like The Gospel Truth and One Last Hope and stuff, that would be really cool. Well, obviously, I'm predicting they'll make Phil more of a serious character, since live action remakes are kind of toning down the comedy, as seen with Mulan remake, which still had comedy but not over the top like the animated version. I'm still mad they didn't put "I'll Make a Man Out of You" in there. I guess that's to be expected with the movie not being a musical. Oh, speaking of which, Raya the Last Dragon is not a musical either. Sure, Raya sings in Kumandran language for about 10 to 11 seconds to summon Sisu. But it's not really a musical. There is this end credits song, "Lead the Way," but it's not. None of the characters actually can get this like big old musical number, and in that way, it kind of follows Zootopia a bit. I like how Disney's stepping outside of their comfort zone, and as much as I like musicals, well, it's refreshing to see them take new steps and deliver us something unique. So, to those of you who are watching this, who made it all through my antics and are wondering if you should pay the $30 for it, that answer would be yes. That's only if you want to spend it, though. I'm not gonna impose my views on you guys like the Phantom Menace likes to do. But it's up to you. I recommend you pay the $30 for it. You will not be disappointed. But if you do not want to pay the $30 for it, that's up to you. Okay? No pressure. You want to save your money and think the movie's not worth it? Suit yourself. It'll be streaming for free at around like June 4th, June 3rd, I think. So yeah, wait till then to watch the movie. I'm sure you won't be regretting that at all with all the rave reviews this movie's been getting. I'm kidding. Alright, so yeah, this movie, definite recommend, worth your $30. There's a solid animation, fleshed out characters. There's perfect emotional moments, excellent visual effects. Story kind of brisk pace, but totally worth it. Honestly, I like animated films as much as I like the live action films, and I like how Disney's returning to their roots here. If there's to be more animated features in the future, I'll be looking forward to it, because if this solid animation is what Disney animators can do at home, imagine what it could be if they're actually in the studio. And once this COVID pandemic ends, I bet it will be a golden age for movies. So, yeah. It it feels good to be with the status quo for once, instead of against it and outsiders and stuff. It feels good to once again be with the majority. Now, this Pongo's recap series started out as deviating from the status quo, like the Rise of Skywalker, which was kind of panned by angry Star Wars fans, and we rated it positive. Wonder Park, a Paramount movie, which a lot of people called it underwhelming. We rated it positive. And Mulan, which was steeped in a lot of controversy, we rated it positive. You see, we stepped outside of the status quo for a long time. We did not agree with the negativity, and that cost us in a lot of places, especially for Mulan. That was the most rocky experience ever. While I persevered with the Support Mulan campaign, and people didn't like that. They felt compelled to call me China supporter, oppression supporter, and you support the genocide of ethnic minorities and stuff. Well, we don't. And the Kickstarter video made that explicitly clear in the comments. So if you guys still think I support oppression, then think again, because I've made it explicitly clear that I do not. So it feels great to be with the majority of critics in this one. That this movie delivered. It's a cinematic masterpiece, and Disney's peak, I gotta say, in modern times. So, yeah, I hope I didn't spoil a lot, and the parts that I did spoil, I hope I did not spoil the experience for you. And if I did, I hope you can still enjoy the movie, because I recommend you still go watch it. There's a lot of parts that I did not state for obvious reasons. And if you go see the movie, you're going to love it. It'll completely change your perspective. Because while the message of trust is kind of hammered in, I think it's an appropriate message. And one that we really need. So, okay. I think we're gonna close this out now. Now it's time for post-production and adding music in here, because obviously you won't notice it, but at the time of this recording, there's no music playing in the background. We gotta change that. So, thank you all for watching. To those of you who are already subscribed, good for you. And to those of you who haven't subscribed, well, it's quite easy. Just hit the like button and press that red subscribe button and ring the bell to be notified on future uploads, because it really helped us out. Yeah, especially since we're kind of a small channel in a world of big creators. So all the subscriptions we can get, it'll help us big time. So, okay. Yeah. See you all in the next video. Goodbye.
Best friends forever.